Right, Deb, ready to go live?
Yeah, ready. I think.
Perfect. Sure?
Yeah,
Lovely.
go for it.
Hey, good evening. I'm Andy.
And I'm Debs.
Stay tuned.
It's Codes of the Unknown.
Good evening and welcome to Codes of the Unknown with me, Deborah, and our guest, Joedy Cook. Now, Joedy Cook is North American Dogman Project. So, yeah, take it from there, Deb.
Right. Well, my first question is to you. What got you into all this? Did you have your own experience or was it just interest or?
Well, I've been doing research for about 28 years. Did a lot of UFO research first, and before there was like cable TV and satellite TV, we had what we call here in the States was public access TV.
Yeah.
And we did a live show the first Wednesday every month for about 10 years, and we had guests on and we talked about UFOs, and then we started to get a lot of cryptid sightings that were kind of connected with UFOs sightings and things. So I saw the Bigfoot stuff being a real interesting case. So I decided to take the Bigfoot stuff up and kind of got into the Bigfoot stuff, and then from there just expanded out. Got into the Dogman stuff about 2006. Because it really started to pick up here in the States. A lot of it, there was a lot of stuff going on in the UK, a lot of stuff going on in Europe, a lot more than what was going on in the States, but it kind of boomed. And I was kind of getting burnt out with the Bigfoot stuff. The field was getting real political. You guys know what I'm talking about, how the field gets political.
Yeah.
And I thought this would be a fresh new start. I fell in love with it. And from there on, it's great.
Yeah.
It's been doing real good. Yeah.
Excellent. Right. I'm going to start off and ask you the first question. I hope you're ready. What are your thoughts or your beliefs on the original Michigan Dogman video? Was it the Gable video?
Right. That's an interesting video. And here's the thought with a lot of researchers. I'll tell you this is with myself and a lot of other researchers, the Gable film itself, okay, where Dogman's coming down the hill. I along with other researchers, believe that section of the film is real.
Right.
And that the other parts added on to it where something was added on to it. Now, the guy that claims he did the film has kind of a shady background with some government agencies.
Right.
Okay? Connections, things like that. And when he tried to reenact the actual thing, he couldn't do it. He couldn't even go to, when Monster Quest did the show about it, he couldn't even go to the exact location because he didn't know where the exact location is. He said he's wearing a ghillie suit. There's a big difference in there. And the way that animal moved, and you see how that back leg, there's no way a human could have done that. And a video expert that knows about human engineering, he looked at it and said, there's no way that's a human in a ghillie suit, the way that animal moves.
Yeah.
So, I think it's real. And there's a lot of researchers that believe that particular part of the film is real. The rest is just was added on to make it look like a hoax.
Right.
Yeah, because there's so many different stories about that. There's one where they believe it's two athletes in a suit. It's one person. It's CGI. There's loads of different stories about it. So I just wondered what your take was on that.
Yeah, I think the Gable film itself with the creature is real.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is bogus.
Yeah. No, thank you. Appreciate it.
So what do you think these things are? Where are they from? And why are they here?
Well, that's the big mystery. We get reports in every day to our organization, and a lot of them are very supernatural cases. You have a lot of flesh and blood. Actually, we get a few that are kind of extraterrestrial in nature with these things, but majority of it is supernatural. A lot of people believe it's a very supernatural creature.
Yeah.
My firm belief is that I look at facts and evidence on stuff, and I think this is a flesh and blood animal. It's something that's always been here, like Bigfoot has always been here. It's just we never ever got to see one because now that you're expanding, homes and businesses and property and things like that, you're going into their territory. So you're starting to get a lot more sightings of these things.
Yeah.
Now, when it goes through history, oral history, when white settlers here in the States really didn't get too much in contact with these things. There's a couple newspaper articles that I had that goes back until around the 1800s, but prior to that, you don't really have a whole lot. But there's a really big oral history of them along in Native American tribes.
Yeah.
In different tribes. So a lot of that stuff ends up falling over into Western culture here in the States. And then you start getting a lot more of these sightings taking place. So yeah, it has to be a flesh and blood. I understand there probably are some supernatural aspects to the creature, but at this point, it's just you can only go by with the information that you receive.
Yeah. Are there a lot more reports coming in from urban areas rather than out in the wild sort of thing?
Oh God, yes. I mean, towns actually. There's a town north of me called Germantown, and there's been sightings in that town that during the day of this thing walking around the town, neighborhoods, things like that. Yeah, it's not uncommon to get reports. So actually, I would say about 30% of the reports that we get are daytime reports in urban areas.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Is.
That's scary.
It is slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the typical description?
Well, it's very canine looking. There's a couple different description that people have seen these things. One is that you have a big, large, muscular type body. Feet and the legs are more human, but it has a canine head.
Yeah.
That's I can't say it's an uncommon description, but you don't get a whole lot of descriptions of that particular one. Then you have the canine variation, which is more of a dog looking. The legs are more like a dog. The arms and hands are like a human. High pointed ears, long snout, looks more like a wolf or a German shepherd. Then you get the variations of the same creature, but looks more like a hyena in the face than a wolf. And when you go to like Land Between the Lakes, that particular creature down there has been reported as more of a hyena looking in the face than actually a canine.
Right.
Yeah, because there's a lot of reports coming out lately about a shorter snout. Normally the reports were of a long snout like a German shepherd, but these reports that are coming in now are sort of short.
Yeah, the shorter snout ones that you get reports of are normally look more like a cane or a hyena. Those are the ones that are more of a shorter snout. And actually, the color variation is almost like a brown and black characteristics of the short snout. Now, the larger snout ones, brown, either full colors like brown, black. And actually, we've had some reports which is more like a gray with a little bit of a black tint to it, or even like a German shepherd color, which is like a saddle, black and brown.
Yeah.
Oh, can I just ask, are you getting many reports of them attacking people?
We get reports, not so much where someone was actually attacked, but where they've been chased by these things.
Like scared off.
Right. Now, when you say attack, you can look at this very differently as a physical attack on the body. No, you don't really have too much of that. But with physical attack, like on their vehicle, trying to get into their vehicle, trying to get into their home, things like that, yes, we do get reports of attacks like that.
Yeah.
But I think we only received one report where one actually touched a human trying to get into the house. But that was it. But we get other reports where people have seen these things attack other humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do get those. Yeah. But like I said, the majority of them are not on a physical attack, but more on a attack on like getting into their home or their vehicle or something
property.
Like that.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just wondering because you hear different reports, different things happening all the time, and you don't really hear many of people being attacked by them. But like you said, it's more them trying to get in the vehicle or trying to open the door and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we get reports where one guy in Kentucky, his dog was in the kitchen barking.
Yeah.
And he was in the living room and his dog's going like really nuts. So he goes into the kitchen, turns a light on, and he says this werewolf was trying to get through the dog port. The dog port that his dog goes in and out of. And it was almost all the way through. It got one arm in the head and part of the shoulder through, and he's sitting there with a broom trying to hit this thing to get it out. And his dog's trying to bite at it and stuff, and he's trying to get his dog back. We've got reports where these things have actually were grabbing on the doorknobs, turning the doorknob, trying to get into the house.
It makes you wonder if they did get in, what they were going to do.
What's that?
It makes you wonder if they did get in, what they're going to do when they get in there.
Well, we had another case that took place in Kentucky where this mother was sitting in the living room floor with her two children playing, waiting for her husband to come home. The front door was unlocked. She left it unlocked for her husband. Now, how the living room sets, off to the right was the hallway, and it kind of goes down a little bit for where the front door is. So when someone comes in, you're not going to be able to see it until they come up the hallway.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the front door opened, and she thought it was her husband. She says, "Hello, we're in here," and she said, "This werewolf." And the way she described it, she said it was like a wolf. It was standing on two legs. It was like something out of the Howling movie. Walks in and stands between the doorway, looking at her and her children. So she grabs her children and puts them behind the couch, and she's in between her children and this thing. But she said it looked at her, snarled at her a little bit, and then left. But it was able to make its way into the house.
That's just giving me goosebumps.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, man, that would I don't know what I would do with that,
No.
because the thing that's going through your mind, I mean, you have your children there, and Mama Bear went in mode to protect the children, and I guess that these things were able to sense that, and maybe he felt, well, this is something I would have done, protect my young. So he just left the situation because, everybody knows you don't mess with Mama Bear. Don't matter how big she is or how small,
Exactly.
Protecting them babies.
So why do you think they're only scaring people off? Is it like an alpha male sort of thing? Like
they're an apex predator, and the thing of it is that they dogs can sense if you're scared of them. Okay, they use that to their advantage. Now I have a very large German Shepherd, and he's big. He's right around about 146 pounds. He's big. And he uses that to his advantage a lot. And I'm trying to teach him you can't scare people, and because he knows he can get away with it because of his size. So but he can sense the fact if someone's not going to stand up to him or someone's do. Yeah. Same thing with these canines.
Yeah,
I believe they can sense that if you're scared, they're going to use that to their advantage. And I think if you stand up to them, then you do have a better chance, but still you're putting yourself at risk by even standing up to them.
Yeah. Thank you.
I wonder what she thought, though. I mean, obviously she was expecting her husband. That thing walks in, and it's like she hides the kids, but then she stood there thinking, "What the hell is it? And what's it going to do?"
Well, when I talked to her, when I talked to her about it, when she reported it, she goes, we knew of all the stories because Land Between the Lakes was close to her. So they knew about the stories of Land Between Lakes. So she knew what it was the minute she saw it. She never believed that this thing really actually exists, but they knew all these stories about the beasts of Land Between the Lakes and, these creatures in the area. But, it was one of these things you had to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
And so she believes it, and she doesn't leave the door unlocked anymore.
I won't either.
I've got a shotgun now, so but she said it never came back. It's never came back.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do these people ever have revisits from them?
What's that?
Do these people that you've spoke to that have encountered these dogmen, do they ever get revisited by them?
Oh yeah. We have one guy that you can say he's kind of being harassed a little bit. His first sighting was he was looking at the window of his house and the cornfield. He said, "See the thing in the cornfield looking at him."
Yeah. And
he didn't think too much of it. And then he went down, sat down watching TV, and he just got this real airy feeling. So he stands up, looks back out the window. Now this thing is standing out in front of the cornfield. So he's able to see this thing really well. Okay. And he described it, as something out of a horror movie, a werewolf.
Yeah.
And it started to go across the road to come into the yard. He said this thing's walking on two legs. It's a dog, walking on two legs. So he goes, the only thing I had was I had my grandpa's sword, military sword, sitting there. So he goes, I grab my grandpa's sword and I go out into the porch and I'm standing there with this thing. And he said, it's kind of like stop. And I'm yelling at it and it ends up going away.
Yeah.
Second time it comes back and starts looking into the window. Well, his wife is really getting terrified because they're getting ready to sell the property anyhow. So he goes, listen, we're going to be out of here soon. We'll be fine. They sold the property, moved into the new property. And the third night at his house on the new property, this thing is looking through the kitchen window. His wife is there doing dishes. She looks up and it's right there looking at her. So this thing was able to follow him from one location to another location. They were probably about 10 minutes away from each house, but this thing was able to follow him. It was able to pick his scent up and follow him. And he says this thing every once in a while comes by the house. And he goes, I'll put security cameras up and you see something being thrown at the security camera and it destroys the security camera. He goes, I'm finding tracks outside the window where this thing is trying to look in. He goes, my daughter, we had to put metal bars on the outside of her window. Just to keep her safe if this thing was trying to get in. So he's kind of gets harassed by this one. And
makes you wonder why it's drawn to him though.
You broke up, I'm sorry.
I said it makes you wonder why it's specifically drawn to him.
It's one of these things I think is, if you stand up to it, okay, you're challenging it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the one thing like with dogs, everybody always tells you is, you'd never look at a dog in the eye because you're challenging it. You look anybody in the eye, you're challenging it. And maybe he took that as a challenge, and their scent, be able to pick up scent is probably very much like, any other dog where they can find where you're at regardless of how far you are away. And maybe he looked at that as a challenge and he was trying to stand up to that challenge.
Maybe so.
That's what I think, and that's what he thinks. He goes, if I would never went out on the porch with that sword, waving that sword at this thing, then maybe he would not have, followed me home.
Yeah.
The thing is as well, it shows you how highly intelligent they are. If they're throwing stuff at the CCTV, so they're not picking it up, obviously they know it's there and they know how it works.
Right. Well, I think what it is, and this is a theory that researchers have, when you have security cameras up that show infrared, okay? Infrared, IR stuff puts out a light, okay? And we think these things are able to see that infrared.
Right.
And so they know that it's either camera, or they know something, or it has some type of effect on them. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons, trail cam pictures of Dogman or Bigfoot, because of that. And there's a really interesting case that took place in Afghanistan where there was a fortress, a U.S. base that was getting ready to be under attack. So they called for air support. The two fighter planes fly over. They spot something on night vision on the radar in the field. So they thought it might have been an insurgent. So they go down and take a look, and they put their thermal imaging on it, which puts out like an IR light also. And he said this thing actually held its hand up to touch it. Like it was able to see that beam where it was letting it go on his hand. So it was some type of Bigfoot type creature, or possible your giant or something to that effect. Because they said this thing was probably about 15 feet high, this animal. And they actually followed it and it kept trying to block out the IR on there. So I think they can see these things. I think it has a lot to do with why they're destroying the cameras. And plus, you know, the petroleum smell, because being plastic, being petroleum, that might have something to do with it too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Yeah, that's why a lot of trail cams are being eaten by bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the petroleum.
Yeah,
I don't know if they can see the IR, but they can sure smell that petroleum, and it's awfully good to them. So
yeah, like catnip to cats.
Yeah.
Right. Should we go on the questions?
Yes.
Right. So first one is from Stockholm Pearls and Views. Good evening. They want to know: does Joedy think any of these creatures can be seen in ancient cave paintings around the world?
Actually, I did some research on that, and I have not been able to find any type of cave paintings of a dogman type creature. I've spoken with numerous anthropologists and asked them about have they had anything where they've seen any type of cave paintings or anything like that represents a dog-headed man. No, nothing. Even in an area called Giant Castle Pass in South Africa, where they're known giants in that area, and they have cave paintings of them there. Now, in that particular area of Giant Castle Pass, there is one cave painting of something that is canine.
Right.
Okay. But in the position that it's in, you can't tell if it's a dog or if it's a human, because it's kind of like in between an all fours and a straight up position. And it's much larger in the picture compared to the humans, and the giants obviously are much larger to that. So that's the only one that I've ever been able to find. Now, when it comes to representation in other things like masks, dolls, and things like that in a Native American culture, yes, there is representation that way.
Right.
Thank you.
The next one's more of a comment from JJ. Hey guys, I'm so glad you have Joedy with us tonight. I'm so looking forward to his views and stories as always. Big fan of his and yourselves. All the best from Sunderland. So that's nice.
Yes.
Thank you.
There we go.
Yep. Right. Next question is from Ryan. He wants to know: do you think your government are doing cover-ups?
Oh yeah. I had a strange situation that happened to me. One particular case that we're working on, I had a lecture that I was doing, and at that lecture, my wife was there, my two brothers. There was a bunch of other people that were there, and the NSA actually showed up at that lecture, and they let me know who they were. They sat in the back. They were kind of taking notes and stuff. They came up and talked to me afterwards. Said it was a great lecture. You had, some really good information. I said, well, I got some really good information on my site. And he goes, yeah, we already have it. So because the NSA collects evidence. So these government agencies, they know about these things. Because one time our website provider contacted us and said, are you guys doing something you're not supposed to be doing? And we asked, what are you talking about? He goes, a lot of 3-letter agencies have been on your site. A lot of government agencies around the world have been on your site. The UK ministry has been on the site. Your intelligence has been on the site. The German intelligence has been on the site. The German government, all over the world, has been on our site. And my only conclusion to that is, it might be somebody at work on a government computer checking the site out, but I know they're monitoring us on this stuff. And so when certain incidents happen, yes, I think they do try to cover things up.
Yeah.
Like, give you a perfect example. There's a case that happened here in Ohio where this young girl came up missing. She was jogging, and our organization actually went out to the area because we knew where she was seen at jogging. We knew that area was a very high area of Dogman sightings.
Yeah.
Okay. We know the DNR has been out in that site looking for these things. So we went out there. One of our team members found ripped up bloody clothing of a female, off the side of the road. We contacted the police, say, look, we found the clothes. We don't know, what happened here. They're bloody. The police really shoved it off, So it's like, okay, so we took pictures of everything. The family identified the clothing as their missing daughter. Okay. Yeah. So 24 hours later, I would say probably within 24 hours later, the government came out there and re-landscaped the whole area where the evidence was found. And we left the clothes there. Okay. Yeah. We just took pictures and everything, but they removed the clothes and re-landscaped the whole area. So so they covered that whole area up. And since that, we have had total harassment by the state on different things. It's like the state of Ohio erased both of my cars' registration for the state. And where I end up getting $130 ticket for each of my vehicles. And when I went to go fight it with the DMV, the clerk said, I've never seen nothing like this, and you must have really teed somebody off because your stuff's erased. So, and things like that has happened with the other guys that were on the team that found this stuff. So not only was it covered up, we were being harassed.
Yeah.
So it happens.
So did you manage to I was just going to say, did you manage to re-register your vehicles?
Yeah, I was able to get it. I tried to get out of the tickets, but I got stuck paying both of them. They were trying to tell me my vehicle wasn't registered for 18 months. And here's the funny thing. Okay. I actually had the last registration form.
Yeah.
And a canceled check.
Right.
But that wasn't enough evidence.
Oh.
To prove my innocence. So I got screwed with on that.
Yeah.
So that was their way of saying, you got into something you shouldn't have got into.
Yeah. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. The next one's from Joe Weeks, our moderator, who asks, do you think they live in packs or they're mainly loners?
That's an interesting question because we get a lot of reports where they're rogue, where they're on their own. We get a very few cases where people have seen more than one, where they ran like a small pack where one of our guys was actually out, and this was actually on TV, his story, where he was out going down the road. Something hit the side of his trailer. He stopped, got out, and saw the side of the light was busted off. He heard a growl, heard two popping sounds, and he said this thing came out into the road and looked at him. Let him know he was there. And it described it as a dog man. And while the other one was coming to flank him from behind, and he was able to pull his weapon out, and he shot this thing point blank range in the chest. Did not affect the animal at all.
Nothing.
So you have cases like that. Now, I've only received one case where they actually ran in a large pack, and it was a hunter was out turkey hunting during turkey season, and he's going through the woods. There's a small opening. He's going through the opening. The turkeys stopped making sound, so he stopped, thinking that the turkeys heard him. He said all of a sudden 5 dogs come running out at him and put him in like a circle. Okay.
Oh.
He described all of them. He just, down to the T. He said the alpha was the one that was more aggressive, was a female, because he was able to tell the genitals on these things because they were standing up.
Right.
And he said the arms were very human looking. The hands were very human looking, but the fingers were a little bit longer. He said they looked a lot like mixture between a German Shepherd and a wolf. They were 4 males and 1 female. Now, they were moving in on him, and he said he raised or lowered his weapon towards the female, and he said they moved back. And that's basically how he got out of the area, by threatening the alpha, and they let him basically out of the area where they got back into the wood line. They stood out in the opening, and he was able to get away. But he never said anything about these things being a dogman or a werewolf. He's always referred to them as dogs. These dogs, he couldn't understand how these dogs were able to run on 2 legs and stand on 2 legs and had these deformed arms and hands that look like humans.
Yeah.
So it was a very unique case. That's the only one we ever received where we actually had a large pack involved.
Oh.
Mind blowing.
I know, I'm just mesmerized.
Yeah, that was a really good case. And he's 68 years old at the time, and he goes, I'll never go hunting again. It will never happen again.
No. When he was obviously an experienced hunter that was out there all the time.
Well, and the interesting thing is that when he raised the weapon at the alpha, everybody moved back. So they're intelligent to know what a gun was.
Yeah.
And, that humans have guns because they obviously watched hunters, kill animals, so they know that thing can cause harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that shows intelligence.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Right. Next question. Another one from Ryan. I think he means long. He wants to know, how long does Joedy think that these have been around for?
Well, we know when you look at history in Europe and the UK, these things go back hundreds of years. Okay. Here in the States, we can only go back maybe 200 years. It could be longer. But just any type of oral history and documentation through newspapers kind of maybe go back about 200 years here. But that's about it. They could have been here much longer. These things could have came across the Bering Straits, just like Bigfoot was able to do. So it's one of these possibilities. But here's the thing. I don't think 200 years ago, 300 years ago, that these things were in very large numbers.
No.
Right.
Compared to how they're here today. But are you guys familiar with the pictures that's been coming out of the UK? I think the area is called Cannock
Chase.
Yeah. The security footage from the farm. Have you seen those?
Not yet.
No.
Yeah. There's. I'll have to send those to you.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
There's security camera caught this dogman werewolf come out from behind a barn or a there's kind of like a wagon or a truck there. Came out from behind there. There's 2 really good pictures. The third picture, it looked as if it was raining and this thing is shaking its hair off. So you see motion in that picture, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And so I did a negative of the pictures to see if there's any type of manipulation to them, and I couldn't find any anything in that. So I went back and I did a lot of research on a lot of different werewolf movies, werewolf movies that came out of the UK, different parts of the world, and I couldn't find these things in anywhere. No. And it went away as quick as it came on.
Yeah.
Right. It hit social media. Yeah. And the pictures, they're colored. That's a good thing. They're colored pictures. But it's probably the best I've ever seen.
Right.
That came out of the UK of Dogman or werewolves. Because that's what you guys call them, werewolves over there, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think people are starting to call them dogmen more, but I think the werewolf term came because that was the only reference people had to what they were.
Right.
Obviously, movies, and that's what it is. But yeah, we do have, for a small island, we do have quite a lot of reports.
Oh, I've got several police reports that came out of the UK of werewolf sightings, and a few of them are kind of black, where they blacked them out, where they hid information. And like Hall, that's a very interesting case.
Yeah,
there in the UK, I think that's probably one of the best cases that came out of the UK is the Hall case, and there's quite, like I said, there's quite a few other ones that came out of there, but I think that one is probably the most recent. And there's a friend of mine, David Blunt. He is a UK Dogman researcher.
Yeah.
And he's been getting a lot of really, really good stuff, Dogman stuff out of the UK. He actually was on last investigation, found a bunch of sheep that was completely ripped apart.
Yeah.
And because you guys really don't have any predators.
No, we don't.
No.
In the UK. And these sheep were like all over this area where they were eaten on. And Dave's a really good UK Dogman researcher, and we work a lot with him. That's where we get a lot of our UK stuff from him.
All right.
Yeah.
Cheers.
He's a good one you might want to have on your show too.
Yeah. What do you say his surname was?
Dave Blunt.
Dave Blunt.
Oh yeah. I'm friends with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he goes out in the forest and all that, like overnight.
Yeah.
Goes
good
for days
group of guys that he works with. Yeah.
Right. Next question is from Joe again. Are werewolf and dogman different things? I don't believe in werewolves.
No, they're the same thing. Okay. But when people say werewolves, they're going by what's in the movie. Okay. Yeah. There's a difference between a werewolf and a wolfman, like the Lon Chaney Wolfman or Werewolf of London, that type of thing. So when people think of werewolves, one of the best werewolf movies came out of the UK is Dog Soldiers.
Oh, yeah.
That's what a lot of people determine what that is. But the thing of it is, I don't believe in werewolves as far as one organism transforming into a second organism. That's a little bit kind of out there. But you have to understand, when people see Dogman or a man dog or what, something other than what you call werewolves in the UK, that's what they think of. That's the first thing that comes to their mind, are the movie stuff, the Howling and Dog Soldiers and things like that. So that's what they're looking at. So that's what they're saying, werewolves. So that's why here in the United States, we don't really use the word werewolves too much. No. Because we want that stigma to stay out of what's going on. Even the name Dogman, I don't even like that name, because I think it, something like Man Dog or something like that is a little bit better than Dogman.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that likes the term Dogman, to be honest.
Bipedal canine.
No.
think is the one that we use.
Yeah.
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 And that's
We got to come up with a new
the
name
mouthful.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely got to come up with a
Upright
new name.
dog.
Upright dog, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find some eventually down the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Are we gonna do a break now and do the rest in the
Well,
other?
just do this because this next question only a short one, so
Yeah. That's
I'm
fine.
guessing.
I'm good.
So yeah, just do this next question, then we'll jump on a break. Is that okay?
Yeah.
We've only got Joedy for an hour and a half tonight. You've got us for half an hour.
Yeah, you got us an extra half hour. Lucky guys.
Yeah.
Right, just do this one quickly, and then we'll jump
Yep.
on a break. So this is from JJ. He wants to know: with you saying earlier about possibly being able to see IR lights, do you think that they can see black lights?
I think they could. I think they're able to see, like you said, the black light. They're able to see the IR light. They're able to see the light that comes off through thermal imaging.
Yeah.
A lot of, like you said, a lot of people are saying that there's one particular group here that got a really good image on thermal of a dogman at LBL, and you can see it in the thermal where it's kind of like moving back and forth, trying to see and try not to. What they believe is that it was able not so much to see them, but they were able to see the light from the thermal imaging going towards them. And that's why this thing was trying to hide in and out, going up and down. But it's a really remarkable video that came out of there from that group. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Right. So we'll jump on a 4-minute break, and we'll go straight back into the questions if that's okay with you two.
Yeah. That's fine.
Excellent. Right. See you in 4.
Right.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And we're back. I was trying to time it so we say it at the same time, but it don't work.
I know. Right. Next question's from Space Cadet Lottie. Did Joedy ever collaborate with J.C. Johnson before he passed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We did a documentary on Land Between the Lakes, and he was actually a part of that. So, yeah, he was a really, really good researcher. I missed the guy. He was extremely knowledgeable about the subject.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was definitely a good guy.
Oh, that's
Cool.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Next one is from Space Cadet again. Are there many reports of youngster dogmen or females seen with a pup?
Actually, the only report we got with a female was the one of the 5 together.
Yeah.
But there's a story that's been going around about this guy who found what he thought was a baby wolf that ended up turning out to be a dog man when he realized this thing was walking around on 2 legs and was extremely aggressive at a very young age. And he took it back out to the woods and stuff. But that's the only story that we've ever heard about a young dog man. And that's kind of odd because we figured we would be getting a lot more stories of a mother and cub.
Yeah.
Than actual, males. But like you said, just the one female, that was it. And you can't, maybe they can't tell either way if it's male or female unless they're actually up close to it. But I figured we would get at least 1-2 good stories about cubs, but I'm surprised we haven't. I don't think anybody that I know that does research in this field has ever heard anything except for that one story that this guy told about on an interview about him finding this cub, which he thought was a wolf, and then realized that it was a dog man.
Wow.
Yeah. What about what? Oh, sorry, go on, Dad. You go
first. I was
first.
just going to say, when you were on about differentiating the females, I've heard reports of some of them being seen with breasts like women, obviously covered in fur, but the definite breasts.
Well, some people have said that, but the guy that saw the one female alpha, he said he saw that were the nipples that looked very similar to a female dog.
Yeah.
Okay, is the way he described it. But he described the male genitalia on the dog man that were more human looking than dog.
Yeah.
So that was kind of unique on that one.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
no, it's all right.
I don't see myself checking that stuff out. I'm going to keep my eyes up where I can look at his eyes and stuff. So I don't get eaten.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, were you saying about the pups? Are there any reports of juveniles that you know of?
I can't really say juveniles because a lot of these sightings that we get from people is that they're all described in the same, that these things are about 6-7 feet. Now, we have one case, which I believe was a juvenile, because the way the woman described the creature, it had to have been a juvenile. She was going somewhere and her GPS ended up making her go off into a dirt road. Okay.
Yeah.
And she realized, well, the GPS probably, because it started to rain really, really heavy, she thinks, well, maybe the weather kind of threw the GPS off. So she decided to sit on the side of the road there because it was really raining really heavy before she tried to go ahead and get out.
Yeah.
So as she's trying to recalculate her GPS on her phone, the sun was coming out. A shadow came up to the side of her car. So she looks up and she said there's this dog standing there looking at her.
Right.
And she said it was just a little bit above the car. So you're talking probably, 5 feet, 5.5 feet. So, so she was looking at this thing and she said it had this really odd look on its face. It had its hands like this up against the window, and it's like looking at her, looking at each other. And then she says, I just sped off. And she goes, I go home, and luckily this was in, the surrounding, area where I live.
Right.
And she went home and she started Googling what this thing probably could have been. She came across our site, contacted us. She goes, I'll take you out where this happened. And what's so unique about this sighting is because it still rained later that night and the road was still wet. When we got there, you were able to see where her car sat and where the footprints were standing up against her window. And
Wow.
Right.
on print there to destroy. Like I said, we got physical evidence on that, which were the tracks and her tire tracks where this thing walked up to her. So, and I'm thinking that had to be a juvenile, because if this thing was not leaning all the way down and it was, right at the, top of her car, it was probably a juvenile, because a juvenile probably would have been stupid enough to walk up and just try to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh.
yeah, that was a really good case, because the lady goes, I had to use the bathroom real bad, and I was really thinking about getting out of the car to go to the bathroom. And she goes, I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think I would have done it in the car, to be fair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think when she saw it, either she went on herself and she didn't say, or she didn't have to go no more because she just got out of there. And, yeah.
It was the last thing on the mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Quick question related to that. It's from Joe Weeks. Did anyone take any casts of the footprints?
Oh, yeah. We have several casts that we retrieved. I've got one, which I believe is the front paw, and the fingers are pretty extended on that. And so that's why I think it's a front paw. Now, my German Shepherd, like I say, he's pretty big. He's about 146 pounds. So I was able to make a casting of his print.
Yeah.
So I use that as a reference to what I find. Okay. So the one set of prints, the back paw and the front paw, that were like the best, is much larger than my dog's print.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when my dog stands up, my dog can stand up, and if he can put his hands on my shoulder, and he is taller than I am.
Yeah.
So I'm 6 foot. So he's little about 6.5 feet when he stands up. He's that big.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. German Shepherds are huge.
Yeah. He's a big dog. So if his paw print is small, this thing had to have been very large. Now we have another print that we've got, which was a very large pad with 4 toes.
Yeah.
Right.
And which makes sense, because if something is very large, if it's walking, in order to support the weight, it's going to have a much wider pad to it.
Yeah.
Dogs have very narrow paws.
Yes.
Okay. So it's easy to run on, but if you're walking on 2 legs, it's much harder to navigate through the woods and stuff, or even, on a dirt road with rocks or something like that, with something that's very, very small, narrow foot. So I made a casting of that. I have 2 casts of that one that I found. So I got a cast of a 250-pound black bear that was roaming around Ohio, and it was the largest black bear. And we were out kind of looking for the bear at the same time the DNR was looking for it, because I wanted a copy of the print.
Yeah.
You know, so I finally found me, where the bear was. We had a bait trap set up, and I was able to get the print. So I made a cast of that to use as a comparison.
Yeah.
And this cast that I got out of Germantown dwarfs a 250-pound black bear cast.
Wow.
And I have pictures on our website of that, where you can see the difference in the size. Well, people say, well, that larger one's a bear because it looks like a bear. Well, the problem with that is, if it was a bear, and the DNR actually looked at the cast, and they even said the same thing. If it was a bear, you're talking about a bear 8 to 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
For it to have it that big. Bears are nuisance animals. They let you know they're okay.
Yeah.
Bears, how many videos have you seen of bears going in people's backyards, going in the swimming pool, going in on their hammock, or they're with their cubs in the pool or something. They don't care.
No.
And a bear that large, 800 to 1,000 pounds, somebody's going to see it.
Yeah.
It's going to
hear it.
Yeah. And Ohio, the thing about Ohio's a lot of farm and dairy and pork. Okay.
Right.
There's a lot of livestock. There's a lot of dairy cows. This thing had enough food source for someone to know that it was there. And that was the problem that I had, is that this is why it's not a bear.
Yeah.
Right.
Because something that big. And of course, if it was a bear, the DNR would have known something about that being that big. So
yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
That's scary.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, if you guys want to see pictures of it, I can send you pictures. I sent you pictures through Messenger of the Canuck case there in UK, the one that was taken on the security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I sent those to
you.
you.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got my phone at the side of me.
Excuse me.
Oh.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just looking at them pictures.
I'll ask the next
I don't know if you ever seen those before. Being coming out of the UK, it's odd that it showed up here before it did with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
you want me to pull it up?
Yeah. Upload it.
Do you want me to upload it? Or,
yeah.
Right.
Right.
If you carry on.
Yeah.
And I'll do the. I'm just going to go off camera a minute while I get them on the screen. Is that okay?
Yep, fine.
Right.
Right. The next question is from Ryan. Do you think that Dogman was created?
No, I think it's a natural born entity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theory that these things were created in labs as a weapon. There's a couple stories floating around from people on YouTube that claim they were with government agencies and they knew about these bio dogman type weapons and things like that. To me, that's all science fiction.
Yeah.
Because if they were a biological weapon that was created, of course you can see the government letting these things out to see what they do, but when it starts taking human life,
yes,
then you start to have an issue.
Yeah,
about
definitely.
it. But see, I can't really see that happening. But yet, we all know how our governments work. So, but I truly think this thing is just something that was just naturally born in, either through, some type of genetic change or something like this, or, could have had some extraterrestrial intervention to it or something to that effect. Is there another really good possibility?
Because there seems to be a lot of links between UFOs, Bigfoot, and Dogman.
Oh yes,
from what I've heard, but
there's a big connection there.
Yeah.
And here's my thing on this: when people see Dogman or they see, Bigfoot when they have a UFO sighting. Okay, either prior or after. Majority of the time, it's always the cryptid sighting after the UFO sighting.
Yeah.
And my theory on that is, humans get abducted. Okay, there's a possibility these things get abducted too, and they're being released because people see like a flashing blue light or a bright light, afterwards and stuff. So it's a possibility that these things were abducted, they were studied, and they were let go when people saw the UFO, and these things are just being released in the same area.
Yeah.
That to me, that's more logical than a total connection between the extraterrestrial and these creatures, meaning that they're not pets, they're not aliens or something like that. They were probably studied.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So should we put the pictures up now?
Yes, let's have a look at these pictures then.
I'll do it in order that you sent me. So I'll do the free first, and I'll do the negatives after. So.
Whoa.
So this is the first one here where the security camera caught it coming around the truck.
Wow.
Yeah. Wait till you see the next one. That's what I was staring at. I just was lost. Are you ready?
Yeah. Hellfire.
That's a really good one. And what makes this, like I said, I put these pictures through all kinds of filters.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. To see if there's any type of manipulation to the picture. I couldn't find anything. Whatever was in that picture was there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't added in. It wasn't drawn in.
Well, the shadow correlates with it as well.
That's why I was looking at. I zoomed in on the shadow. Even the shadow, from what I can see, is pinpointed to the shape of how it's standing.
How it's standing, yeah.
It's kind of like double bent with the knees, and then it looks like it's bent a little bit at the hips.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, like I said, I did a lot of research on it to find out if there was any type of Disney movie or any type of any movie that was out there that had anything that this was probably a part of. But one of the pictures are very, very good, clear pictures. And my only concern and what the picture is that how the light is set. I would figure that the shadow would have been a little bit off to its left.
Right, yeah.
More than up to the front.
Yeah.
But there could be a light, from what it looks like, there's a light behind them.
Yeah.
So
the shoulders lit up, innit?
Yeah, the shoulders lit up, and it looks like it's lit up from behind, and so you can see some light in the back there. So I'm thinking that there's a light behind them. That's why the shadow is looking like it's more straight.
Yeah.
So
because if you look at the left arm, the lower part of it, that's lit up as well.
Yeah, like his hand's lit up.
Pointing it with my cursor, no one else can see it, can they?
Yeah, because you can see the hand actually in the shadow.
That's what I mean.
The thing. You can see the hand in the shadow there.
So you can see the right arm coming down to where his hip and the upper part of the leg, and then the left arm is just sticking out to the side of it, and that's lit up. So there must have been a light.
Did you say it was a farm, Joedy?
Yeah, it was in a farm there in
Could have security lighting.
Yeah,
security light. From my understanding, it was a motion. It was a motion light with the camera.
Yeah. I'll do the next one where it looks a little bit fuzzy.
When it's water.
So to me,
you can see it moving.
He's shaking.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if he's wet or if it rained or what, but his body is shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the legs, the feet aren't. To me, it looks like the feet aren't really moving.
No, just the top half.
Just the top half. So if you notice on the legs on this creature, they're not canine.
No.
They're very human looking. And what the research I've done with between the UK and the US, a large majority of sightings of your werewolf in the UK don't really have canine style feet or legs. They're more human. Okay,
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah.
I've got this drawing that came out of a German newspaper in 1831, and what they had in Europe, what this newspaper did, they would do a carving and do an ink carving in the newspaper.
Yeah.
And where this, I can't think of the name of the town. It started with an N, and I've got the actual drawing from the newspaper.
I think I've seen that.
Where this werewolf walked into the town during the day, and the description of this thing was very, very much like your howling werewolf, but the legs and the feet were very human. So that characteristic is European for sure. Even in Transylvania, the sightings that we've got out of Transylvania, because we're talking with a researcher in Transylvania, and he describes that these werewolves their legs are very human and their feet are very human. So this is very typical for Europe.
That's just mind blowing.
Yeah, it's really, it's a really interesting picture. But like I said, as soon as these things went up, there was very little information about it.
Yeah.
And it was gone. I mean, somebody did not want this information out there because they made sure it went away.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do the negatives quickly because we're getting on for time. So this is the negative of the first one.
God, yeah.
So I'll do a comparison so you can see.
Yeah.
So you can even see the light behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even that's showing up. And I'll go back to this one because I know not many people like it. It's freaky.
It is freaky.
And then there's a negative.
Oh hell, that's even worse.
Yeah. So you can see if there was any type of mount that was holding it up or any type of wires or anything like that, it would have showed up. Okay. So whatever this physical creature is, it's there on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under its own power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then this one.
God.
Yeah. Even there. I mean, look at the distort of the creature itself.
Yeah.
Because you can clearly see the legs are not moving. But it's from the waist up.
Yeah, top half of the body.
Well, what I'm thinking in this picture is now in the second picture, his legs were close.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was either into a stopping motion or he was moving to go stop. This one, obviously, he's shaking and he's moving in a direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but these are the only three pictures that showed up. You know, I would love to see if there was a fourth picture, but apparently the fourth picture, nothing showed up in the fourth picture because this thing was able to move a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But you can clearly see that it's just the creature that's moving. Because if you look at, is that rubble on the floor and there's a trailer with a bit of straw or hay on it, that's completely everything else is in focus.
Yeah.
Even the shadow.
Yeah. So unless somebody really, some special effects guy, you know, from Hollywood could probably do that with you know, $1,000 equipment and stuff like that. But I really believe that the picture's real, and the person who let it out, you know, it was the farmer itself, and he posted it, and he basically said, "This is what happened. This is what showed up."
Yeah.
And you know, got in contact with them, spoke with them one time, and then from there on, it's just the whole trail is just dead. No communication with him anymore. Can't communicate with him. He's not responding back to anything. It was on his Facebook page, and his Facebook page is gone. Everything is gone. I don't see him doing a hoax.
He will have time if he's a farmer.
Yeah. I mean, he's a farmer. He probably don't have that much money. I mean, he didn't offer anything for the pictures or say, look, I'm selling these or whatever. He was just a concerned individual, said, look, this is what's happening on my property. I want to let you know. And then it's all gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we know that the British government, especially the British police, they do take it very serious.
Yeah.
But they cover it up. And, with the police reports that I've got out of the UK, it shows that they're covering up on the way they're writing the report and the way they're blacking out stuff.
Yeah.
For when, I'm sure, do you guys have like a freedom of information?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay. And so when I got them, they blacked out a lot of stuff for me. So there was a lot of stuff in there. I mean, most of it, it wasn't like they didn't block out like addresses and stuff like that. It was just basic information about deciding and about the creature itself is what they blacked out. So, yeah.
So it's not freedom of information, really, is it? Because you're not getting to find out what it is.
Yeah, we'll tell you
several reports of this thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll tell you everything, but we won't tell you any details. We'll block all that out. So you get all your hands if there's on-offs. That's it. That's all you get in.
Everything else is redacted.
Right. Because we've only got like 15 minutes left.
We have.
So next question is from Umbra. Does Joedy think dogmen can be called, summoned, or is every report seemingly random?
We've got some reports where people who consider themselves psychic mediums have gone out and summoned these things.
Yeah.
And where they actually have had, you can say, telepathy conversation. Yeah, we've had reports about those. It sounds far-fetched, but you have to take it serious sometimes that there's a possibility. There's always a possibility for everything. Okay. Life is stranger than fiction sometimes. And truth is stranger than fiction sometimes. Okay. So psychic mediums, I think they're able to pick up and communicate with different things on a different level.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There was this one, she was a psychiatrist, did this really good interview with a psychic medium that was able to bring a dogman in through telepathy. And the interview was very well listened to because it was done really good. I mean, there was no joking or anything in there. This dogman basically was telling, that people shouldn't fear us. We're not out to hurt anybody. We want to be left alone. You're destroying our environment, things like that. But it was done very, very good. Yeah. And it got a lot of really good feedback on there. And like I said, this woman was a highly known psychiatrist.
Yeah.
It didn't even hurt her credibility at all. So it was a really good interview.
Yeah. Right. Next question. Yep. Thank you for that. I think you answered this earlier, actually. Nickname wants to know, is Dogman flesh and blood or interdimensional?
Both, I would say, because the amount of reports that we get, we actually get more supernatural in nature than flesh and blood. So, we do look at both sides. So I think there's something dimensional, and a lot of people have a theory that the hollow earth theory, if you're familiar with that,
Yeah.
there's a possibility that these cryptids, Dogman, Bigfoot, Mothman, Goatman, things like that, or creatures that live in a different type of environment in the earth.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
And they're able to come out through dimensions. They're able to move through dimensions. The possibility, I don't shun off the possibility of that.
Yeah.
It's a really good theory, and it's a really good possibility, because we live in a very strange world where you see things that you can't give any justification to.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that happen. You were lucky enough to see it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of really strange things. I know which was a portal.
Right.
I was watching these two military jets fly, and the sky opened up, and these things went in, and they were gone.
Wow.
And I had no answer for that, other than that they were jumping into either a different dimension or a different period or something. But it was one of these things where, I
just try to explain it.
It was like a TV screen,
Yeah.
And it was strange. It was one of these things. It's like, man, I should not have seen this, because I'm going to have someone show my house, standing out there watching me look at this thing. And so it's those things. Yeah. Oh yeah. I truly believe in that.
Yeah. Now, I've seen something like that, but it wasn't as close up. It's quite a way off. So I'm going back to the 90s. I'll just tell you quickly, there's a metal object in the sky. It was blue. Oh no, it's silver. A blue line split across the sky. It opened up. It shot in, went bright red, and then it closed again.
Mm-hmm. And the thing of it is that, you get these bright colored lights. There's some significance to that, because it's either red, white, or blue.
Yeah.
And it just really depends, I think, on the area and the type of sighting, depending on. Now, a lot of these Dogman sightings, where people, when it comes to interdimensional, it's always been a blue type of light. Now, when it comes to the sky, red and white is like one of the biggest things on that one. So each one, maybe it's the atmosphere, the light in the atmosphere that could be, putting off the different colors of the light. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's like one of these things, where at night, 12 o'clock at night, the sky is still blue.
Yeah.
It's just you don't see it because the sun's not, putting its rays there, but the sky is still blue above your head.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Right. Last two questions then. So the next one's from Nickname. Had any dire wolf type sightings like at Skinwalker?
We've had several reports where people have seen what they describe as a dire wolf, where it's on all fours, very, very large. But it's always been like at a distance.
Yeah.
Nothing very up close. But it's always been described as a dire wolf.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you what a dire wolf looked like at the time until I did a lot of research, because there's a lot of different characteristics to a dire wolf through different periods and stuff. And everybody is describing what you would see: the large body, the large head. It's a really good possibility that these things still can be living.
Yeah.
The dire wolves. Yeah. I mean, I just was watching something yesterday where they truly believe, like in Alaska, that the mammoth
Yeah.
may still be living in Alaska
Yeah.
and in Siberia.
Yeah.
There's a really good
Right.
possibility of that. So, things can hide because as well, UK is not a big place, but there's
No.
parts of UK no man has ever stepped foot on.
Oh yeah.
The
And
Highlands
never
of
been
Scotland being one.
there. Yeah, and something like that could exist undetected in thousands of acres of wilderness that no man has ever stepped foot on.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never know.
You don't know.
Right. So the last question of the night is from our one and only Joe Weeks. It's a pretty good question. She wants to know: have you ever seen a dogman yourself?
I saw something which I believe was a dogman. We did an night investigation up at Daniel Boone National Forest in Kentucky. Daniel Boone National Forest is a very wicked forest. The Native Americans never stepped foot in this forest. They knew that there's something that was there that they would never step in. So we were in there on an investigation. We're about 2.5 miles in, and we came around a bend. So we all, had our little lights on our hats and stuff and flashlights. Came around a bend. We caught eye shine, which was a deer. And the deer was next to this bush. The deer looked up, saw us, and the deer went to jump over the bush. And this large animal came out, grabbed the deer. Long arms, long fingers. You saw the large snout, the high pointed ears, and it grabbed this deer right in front of us, probably 20 yards at the most. And it, just real quick came in, grabbed the deer as the deer was jumping over the bush. Because I'm thinking this thing was stalking the deer at the same time we came around. So, and we know there's dogmen in that forest.
Yeah.
There've been a lot of sightings there. So, yeah, and like I said, it had to have been a dogman because it had the large snout, it had the high pointed ears.
Yeah.
So, it was very terrifying. Seeing this. It was big. It was big because this was a pretty good sized deer, and once he got a hold of it, it was able to grab it with one arm, and you heard the screeching from the deer from where it killed it, and it's like, well, do you guys want to go further and see if we can see or back off a little bit? So we kind of back off a little bit. So
yeah. I would have done as well.
Went away that night real quick.
Yeah.
So
right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Everyone's loved the show tonight. Thank you, Joedy, so much.
I appreciate it. Yeah, like you said, I got another show I got to do here in 30 minutes, and I wish I I knew it was going to be about 2 hours, and I would have rearranged something because I had a really good time.
It's fine. You can always come back on at any time.
God, yes. I'd be happy to come back on.
Yeah, and what I'll do, it'll be in the new year. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So it'll be after
New
New
Year.
Year.
Keep you posted on anything new that came in and things like that we can talk about.
Yeah, well, because what we know, if we get a guest to come back on, we always try and give it about 6 months. So then, if they've got any updates, rather than reiterating what they've already spoke about. So,
we'll keep in touch with each other.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Had a great time. Thank you, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you soon, Joedy. Take care, mate.
Good night.
Care.
All right. Enjoy the next one.
Okay. Thank you.
See you later. Cheers.
Bye.
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 And we're done. Right, I'm going home now, Deb. See you later.
Bye.
That was awesome. Absolute. Them photos. I seen the one in the middle. I've seen something like it before.
That second one's just no.
I don't know. I was reading the comments as I was putting the images up, and no one said, that's fake. No. Not one person. But few people kind of a bit on the fence about it, not sure. But I think because of how good a photo it is, you disbelieve it straight away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a problem because people want these photos.
Yeah, and then when they get them, they're like, no, that ain't real.
Nah, too good. It's not blurry enough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and go
you
circling around
can't
it.
win. You cannot win.
I know.
Oh,
Total madness.
yeah. Thank you everyone for coming in the chat tonight. Now you got me and Deb for half an hour.
Yeah,
You
you're lucky
lucky
buggers.
people. Where's everyone going?
Yeah, I'm going to say numbers are dropping really quick. What's happening?
So, yeah. Well, I'll message him later. He's got like 20 minutes to get ready for his next show.
Yeah.
So I'll message him later. Hopefully he'll get back to me at some point tomorrow. For those that haven't got the link, I'll get his website and anything else that he wants to send over. They might even be in the description. I know I should have, but I didn't look. I just copied and pasted it. I didn't have time. First time ever. I normally check through it all first, but I just not had time to do anything this week. Too busy on me jollies.
Yeah.
So glad to be back.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You're overjoyed, aren't you?
Yeah. Can't you tell?
Oh.
But oh, there we go. Joe Weeks has put it up. Thank you, Joe. Joe, can you put that on the website? Not on the website, on the Facebook pages. Thank you. Oh yeah. So for those that don't know, change the name again. So it's Cryptids, UFOs, and Cryptids, UFOs, and Paranormal.
Yeah.
If only. Sorry.
Shush, what?
No, Umbra. Don't know what he's talking about. Don't think he knows what he's talking about.
Mrs. Codes will see that and think if only. I have no idea.
Don't know. Don't know what he's on about.
Anyway,
so we have, and these are in stone. I've done a video for one of them, but I've got an operation coming up, and
yes.
I got the letter.
Found a compatible brain finally.
No, I've been so I can transform into a dogman.
Superb.
No, I'm having my hernias removed.
I
literally got the letter about an hour ago.
Yeah.
I think postman's doing a night shift. Extra 30 minutes. 30 seconds? What are you on about?
Yeah.
So the date that was, so we're doing two. So there's a guy that I know. He owns a coffee shop. Well, they've got a coffee shop, him and his partner, and they've got two pubs. Now, this coffee shop, the building, was originally built in the 1600s, and then it was rebuilt in the 1800s, and it used to be a hospital. There was a family that owned it. They registered it as a confectioner's, and the family ran it for around about 150 years.
Yeah.
The people have been in and done investigations there in the past, and they've got names and they've come up with stuff. I don't want to give everything away now because I've done the video for it. That's going to go on Facebook at some point tonight and YouTube, so you can watch it. And I've done the voice recording, so the guy Craig who owns it, you'll hear him talking about just giving you a basic run, and then there's some photos that I took while I was in there. So that one's going to be a live stream. The one in the pub, I'm not sure yet. So the one in the pub, that's on a Sunday night because they've got a late license till 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Don't really want to be doing that at stupid o'clock in the morning. So we're doing it on a Sunday because the license is up till 12:00.
Yeah.
So we're going to do it about 1:00. These are both going to be in August. And then the one in the coffee shop is going to be on a Wednesday evening. That's going to start around 10:00. Yeah. Now, that one's going to be a live stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the pub one as a live stream. That might be a pre-record.
Yeah.
Just have to work things out and see how it's going to work and if it's going to work. Oh, right. I didn't write any of that down.
I know,
but really, the dates of that might change due to my operation.
Yeah.
It just depends how mobile I am after having it. In and out same day.
Yeah.
I've got to be in there at 7:30 in the morning.
Might be a little bit sore, but you'll
Yeah,
probably
I won't be eating for a few weeks. I'll put it that way. Now, I'm laughing now. I'll be crying later.
Yeah, you will, yeah.
So yeah, I'll get that sorted, and then hopefully, because the one in the coffee shop, that's ground floor and basement, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna set a camera up downstairs, the night vision one, with
Yeah.
a couple of IR lights, and leave that running.
Yeah.
And then just do the main areas and the back bit. So it had an extension built on the back, and that was built in the 1920s. So this extension's just over 100 years old.
Yeah.
So there's a family. They had a few kids, mostly daughters. Few of them died early, and these are the ones that have been seen, like looking out of windows, or when someone's looked in one of the mirrors, you've seen them stood behind. I can't remember the exact details. And these two names that keep popping up when the people have done investigations are Mary and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Sent me a bedtime. Shut up, Joe. I sent her that thing about the headless cyclist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we'll go into that in a minute. His show will go on. I'll just drag my colostomy bag around with me. I'm not. I'm saying I'm not.
Yes, really.
Never know. But yeah, so we're going to do that. Oh, because I can just... Because the thing is, I'll have to get a lift there, and I'll just have... Because I'm not going to be able to drive for a few days.
There you go.
Yeah, the thing is, I've got two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably tie them together and then just whip them out.
I'll lose about 3 stone.
Lucky you. Hey, if it's that good, I'm going in for them, and I haven't got any ears, but I shall make sure I've got some.
Yeah, I'm not looking for sympathy because I know I won't get it here.
No, you won't.
I won't get it anywhere in this house.
You won't get it anywhere on the other end of the phone either.
Won't get it anywhere. Absolutely nowhere. Yeah, so depending on how I feel, depends on whether the pub one is a live stream or pre-record.
Yeah.
But they both will be happening. Them dates are set, and it's all, yeah. And the reason they're not being done till towards the middle end of August is the coffee shop's in the middle of refurb, and there's a lot of scaffolding and loose wood and signs and cabinets that are being made.
Yeah.
So we're not what the light fittings aren't even up. It's all temporary lights. So we don't want to be walking around and tripping over stuff and grabbing hold of live wires and all that.
Yeah.
It's not worth the risk.
No.
We'll end up in hospital.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be 95% complete by the time we get in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm going to stick the video on after I've done this, and then I'm going to go to bed.
Oh.
Deb, have you any news?
No.
Thanks. Good night.
I never have anything to tell anybody.
Right, so the next one.
Now.
That's right. Well, what you think, I'll tell you this.
Oh, go on then.
So, Bo Carrington, who does the modding, the guy who posts everything on the Facebook pages for us, he put a thing up about a headless cyclist. And I just seen the word Kingsford. Right, so I went in it. Oh my God. This pub, this Fox and Hounds pub, is about 500 yards from Kingsford Cemetery. And I was reading the post about it, and what it said, you can all read it anyway, but I've copied and pasted it and sent it to loads of people. The crash happened. The guy got killed on his bike. I think it's the 1920s, right outside the gates, the entrance to the cemetery. And a few people keep seeing it, especially when it's stormy weather, of this cyclist crashing into a car. Or they'll see the bike go past with a guy in it and he's got no head. It could have been Benchman.
How does he... Yeah, but Benchman had a head. How does he see where he's going if he's got no head?
Because he's done that route so many times.
Well, I've done that. I've done my routes in my car, but if I didn't have a head, it wouldn't be happening, would it?
You do know I put that up on one of the lives?
Did you?
Don't know what you're on about, Joe. Can you give more
during an
detail?
investigation? Oh, I think she might have done, actually, yeah.
What? Oh, she's put the info up when we've been at Kingsthorpe.
Mm.
No.
Yeah,
Didn't see it.
That's what you mean.
Sorry,
Well, that
Joe.
makes a change because you've never got your face out of bloody chat when you do an
I was
investigation.
waiting for that.
Jeez.
Shh. Well,
Shouldn't
people
have
don't
done.
read it out, or they're off sick, or
Yeah.
blah de blah de blah.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna next time we do. I think Kingsthorpe's gonna be our go-to place.
Yeah.
Because if
There's
you
a lot.
guys go and watch that the last one that we did, there's something right at the beginning where the tombs are, and there's something or somebody moving between the war graves. I didn't see it when we stood there. We all got a horrible feeling. Even people in the chat were getting like a sad feeling in that.
Yeah.
And you can clearly see on the third row from going left to right, you about 2-3 graves in, you can clearly see there's somebody there. I was waiting for someone to put that. You're all a bunch of dickheads.
Yeah.
You can clearly see someone or something like crouched down or stood between the gravestones,
Yeah.
and like I don't know, it looked like they was waving, but I didn't see anything, didn't hear anything, didn't because when I'm filming it, I try and look at it through the camera so I
Yeah.
know what I'm filming rather than looking over it or around it, and didn't see anything, nothing at all.
No, it's weird.
I've got a tan. Look, one on my hand.
Bloody tan.
Not
But if
me
you wash your
job.
hands, it'd come off.
Probably. I did fall over in some dirt the other day. I didn't.
Smashing. I'd
Yeah.
like to tell you who's coming on in the next few weeks.
Oh, wait.
So you
No.
stopped me in my tracks there. I was
I've
already.
got it. 3, 2, 1, go. Not yet.
Deborah, who's our guest next time on the show?
2 hours later.
I have no idea.
I have no idea why I'm upside down.
It's just how you was when we did the video.
Was it?
Apparently so.
Okay then. So next week we've got Jessica. No, on
next
Friday.
week.
Sorry. I've got mixed up with my days now.
Right.
Because you've
so
been away, you've just thrown me out. It's Jessica Jones on Friday, all being well.
Maybe. That's a big maybe.
We haven't heard from her.
No. I've messaged a few times and I've had no reply.
Yeah.
I've checked the emails and she said she was ready and sent me a bio and all the links and told me what she's going to be talking about. But I don't know.
Now she's gone underground. Like a
Yes.
womble.
Or an abductee.
Yeah, she could have been abducted.
Yeah. Who's on next week?
So next week is Jim Goodall again.
Who's
And
on
we
week
shall
after?
we shall not be throwing him under a bus.
No. Depends what number.
Well, those are pass. Whichever one's passing, we won't be throwing him under it anyway.
Number 1 or number 2 around here?
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Who's on the week after?
The week after is Jack Carey.
Who's on the week after?
The week after that is George
Your best
Mitrovic.
mate.
I had to look at that then because I haven't gone that far in front. Mr. Mitrovic again. That will be fun.
Back to those photos. I'm not tempting fate. They've already disappeared from online if your show goes missing.
All right, okay.
Well, can I just say...
Nice knowing you.
Here we go.
Oh, Lordy. It's not right. To me, go back to the ordinary picture.
It looks like Elf.
That's got quite a piggy face to me.
It looks like Elf. Remember
it
the
does look a bit with the funny nose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just the angle of it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because he's kind of half turned.
Yeah.
I'm not getting that.
No.
I'm not getting a good feeling off that.
Yes, I've got backups. Every photo that goes straight to my phone backs up to Google Photos and backs up to
Yeah, Ryan says he reckons it's
Internal
got a
memory.
biggie face, but it could be the angle of the dangle.
Yeah,
because it's
What
kind of half turning, and
yeah.
I suppose
What
if it was side on, his snout would be more prominent.
Yeah, what she said.
But he says he thinks it looks cuddly. I wouldn't want to cuddle it, to be fair, but it stinks.
I don't know. Might have had a bath.
Yeah,
That's why he was shaking himself.
yeah. In a what is it? Trough, horse trough.
Yeah.
So,
Just a quick reminder for
no,
nickname.
that's not good. Sorry, no, that's not good enough, Rick.
No.
We need lines off you, mate. Sorry.
Yes. Nickname. Can you do your thingy later? Thanks. Your tags.
Oh yeah.
She said, so I'm not have to write everything down through the show. She does all the tags and sends
Yeah.
them to me.
Because you're just
Nick.
lazy, really, aren't you?
Hi, Rick. You okay? Oh, well, I remember, I just want to say a great big thank you to everyone that donated this week. Really
Thank
do
you.
appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Much obliged.
Hi, Lawrence.
Hello, Lawrence. Late to the party as well. You can do lines.
Was you in Rick's car?
Oh, be
You
out
never
joyride.
know. You never know.
Don't worry about Codes of the Unknown being on with Joedy Cook. No, let's go out joyriding.
Yeah, and then break down and then turn up late. May as well say your dog ate your own work.
Yeah, you might as well. Anywho,
Anyhow, go on.
I don't know what I was going to say then.
Um,
The week after that, anyway, is Maria Wheatley.
yeah. Look at you on
And the week
form.
after that is Nathaniel
Wait.
Curry.
Let me get my calendar up.
And then we've got Barry R. Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
We're pretty booked up, basically.
We are booked up till December.
We are. Sorry.
Then you've got Preston Dennett, Malcolm Robinson, Stefan Lubizek, Michael E. Boyd, David White. Oh, not telling you the next one. That's a special one. The week after the special one, it's me and Deb. Lucky people again.
It's a special one.
It's me and you. I can't tell you the special one.
Have you not even put it on the calendar?
Yeah, it's on the calendar, 7th of October.
Oh, that one's special. Yeah, we're not talking about that one.
Then the 21st, we've got Dan Baldwin and George Sewell.
Yeah.
28th is our Halloween special.
November the 4th. Live on air.
Yeah. November the 4th, not sure if we're going to be doing one or not. Might have a break that week because busy. Then 11th of November, we have, for those who know, is Leslie Mitchell Clark and Wes G. Roberts.
Fair enough.
Yep. And that takes us to middle of November, and we've got nothing then until the 23rd, which is a Christmas special.
It is.
Oh, we have news. We have news. So starting in January, we're changing the time. 4:30 in the afternoon. No, we're going to go to about...
Andy's doing it live from his work van.
Could do, you know. 7, 7:30.
Not the way you swear at other drivers. We could.
Shh, don't swear at no one. Me, swear. Yeah, we're going to do... Whether is it 7 or 7:30?
7:30.
Yeah, because finishing at 10 o'clock, it's a little bit late. Because I know some of you got to get up for work on a Saturday and so on and so on. I'm knackered. I'm up at 5:30 every day, Monday to Friday, as you all probably know.
Yeah, we do. She keeps telling us
about 1,000,000 times every day.
Yeah.
It's just that extra half hour. I can get all the editing done.
Yeah,
that's me done then. 10 o'clock. I can go watch TV for a bit. Oh, Jody's on another podcast now. Sorry, Rick.
Yeah, we only had an hour and a half with him.
But he is going to be coming back on.
Yes, he is.
What's Warren asking now?
I don't know.
So what is the plan if Jessica lets us down?
Just me and...
Deborah's going to pretend to be a shadow person. And I'm going to try and catch her.
No, I think what I'm going to do is a bit of burlesque.
No,
I've got feathers and shit.
I've got shit, but not feathers. I was thinking we could do the other show if
Yeah.
she doesn't turn up.
Yeah. We'll have a mess about.
Yeah, sorry, Rick. He
Yeah, sorry you broke down.
sorry he was late coming and that he's not here now. But no, I did tell him it was 2 hours. He just didn't read it proper or something. I don't know. I don't even know if he did tell him it was 2 hours. I might be completely
Probably
wrong.
didn't.
Probably not. No,
I tell people it's 2 hours, but that's just me.
I tell him it's 4 days. I think that's why no one replies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys want us to do our other show on Friday,
Alternative show.
I've got so much.
Yeah.
So much. Honestly, it's like last night I couldn't. If I was driving and had crashed, I was laughing that much.
Fair enough.
Could not see. Honestly. Oh, I'll tell you about the moon. The moon, quickly.
The moon.
So when I was on holiday, I was sat on the beach on the rock. Beck and the kids were messing about in the water and what have you. So I thought I'll try my camera because not really used this one since I got it. Excuse me. And so I thought, right, I'll zoom into the moon, see if I can get a clear photo. So photos that I've put on Facebook, they're probably the best ones that I got. And yeah, so I'm taking pictures, deleted a couple, went back to take another. The moon's gone. And it's like, because I was going to put this on Facebook, but it takes so long to write it. So like, there's a bit of a cloud above it, as you can see in the photo. I thought, oh, that cloud must have dropped down. But it didn't. And this is a weird thing. So I'm sat on the coast, sea on my left, land on the right, and all the clouds are moving out to sea.
Yeah.
From right to left as I'm looking at them. The moon was like pretty much directly in front of me and like obviously up. It weren't in front of me. It weren't chatting to it. Well, I don't know. Could have been.
Yeah, probably knowing you.
But and then on the photo with the two photos that look similar, there's a single cloud and that's moving inland. All the other clouds are going out, and there's this one that's moving in. It's really faint, and it looks on the right hand side of it. It looks a bit hexagonal, like it's got straight lines on it and a bit of a tail. Now that didn't fade like clouds do. It just stayed the same, and it moved in a direct straight line. Now you could see the clouds moving; they weren't moving fast, and they was moving not slow, but you could see them moving. You could tell the clouds were moving.
Yeah.
And then the moon was gone. I'm like, I'm shouting at her, Beck, where's the moon gone? He's like, shut up, these people about. I don't care. Where's the moon gone? I'm looking. I'm like, can't find it anywhere. Right? Yeah. Check my pockets, everything, the lot, nothing, nowhere. And I'm looking around the clouds. There's only like one block of cloud in front, because some of the photos that I took that I deleted, I wish I'd have kept them now.
There you go. You say.
I look back at them, and there's some of them that have got like the cliffs on and what have you, so I could work out where the moon was when I took the photos. But anyway, Beck goes, right, we're going now. Kids are getting cold and bored. We want to go and get something to eat. Right, okay. So I stood up, started walking off. As we're going up the steps off the beach, I look up and I see the moon. So when I was taking photos of the moon and looking at it, imagine you're looking at a round clock and you're looking in the centre where the two arms meet. That's where the moon was.
Yeah.
When I looked at it, when I seen it the second time after it had gone missing, it was at the 2 o'clock, but right on the edge, on the outside of the clock. So it completely moved up and to the right. And you're only talking the space of 5 minutes. This was about, is either, someone asked me in one of the photos about it, and I said, oh, it was either 4:23 or 3:23. I think it was 4:23. So it wasn't that dark.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even getting dark. And then when I seen the moon, it was like twice as bright as what it was when I first seen it. And it just made no sense whatsoever. How it moved up and to the right in like 3 or 4 minutes and was like twice as bright as what it was before that. And the fact that it was there, then it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the photos are on Facebook. They're on my profile. You can have a look. I can.
Sorry.
Oh, what are you doing? Are you all right?
Yeah.
What are you laughing at now?
Laughing at the banner.
The what?
The banner.
Wait, I've only got the end bit of it. You're not funny. Did Andy see the moon? Did Andy not see the moon? Answers on a postcard. If he nearly saw the moon, you're gonna get a lot of postcards. But it was just weird. Where the moon was, this cloud came along, and then that's where the moon would have been.
Yeah.
And then it weren't there, and then it was back again in a completely different position. But then, like the caravan we were staying in the living bit, you got the window, it's south facing, so it's facing towards a beach. And the next 2 nights were clear nights, and each night the moon was in the exact same position.
Yeah. That's
Didn't
not
move,
right.
didn't go off because like the 28-day cycle or anything like that. You stayed exactly where it was. That's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. That day.
Yeah, that day.
Yeah, so whatever you make of that, I don't know. I don't even know what to make of it.
I don't either.
Was
it the moon? Was it not the moon? Whose moon was it? Was it our
was
moon?
something, but then the second moon was the moon.
Yeah.
I don't think the one that I've took photos of, I don't think that was the moon.
Well, it's like I said to you, that time that I was looking at the moon through the trees all night long, never even dawned on me that it was in the same position all night long. It hadn't moved. And then I got up to close the door, and as I got up to close the door, the moon was over there to my 2 o'clock. And I looked up and the other one had gone.
Yeah, well, weird.
No
Don't get
idea.
it. Don't trust the moon. I don't think
trust
it's
the moon.
made. I don't think it's made of cheese.
It's doing its own thing and it's worrying me.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I'm
apparently you don't get moon dust from it either. Not the
Don't
one
you?
that pops in your mouth. Probably get proper moon dust.
Oh, I used to love that stuff.
It's called
It's just-
popping candy now. Yeah. Tango one. Anyway,
I'm going to for our if we do our own little show thing, our alternative show. I'm going to upload that video that I sent you that you probably still haven't watched because everybody is going to find that hysterical.
Right, I'm going to watch it tomorrow.
I'm going to have to be I'll be choking laughing because it is funny. Yeah. So I'm going to upload that. It's only about 7 minutes long, but it's worth a watch.
Yeah. Oh, you might not be able. You might have to share it. If it's more than 10 meg, you can't put it. No, if it's more than 200 meg, you can't upload it.
I'll have to check. I've got it in my emails. I'll have to save it and then see if I can upload it.
Blind Frog Ranch.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Well, I just thought it was a load of random words.
No, it's right.
All right, will do.
Cheers.
Right, I shall be waiting on bated breath for these tags, Nicola.
Yes, Nicola. Darling.
At some point. Sorry, nickname. Right, and on that note, we're going.
We're off.
Yes.
It's been lovely to see you.
It has. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
No, not you. All
right. Cheers. Thanks, Joe, for doing the modding.
Yes, thank you. Thanks to Joedy for coming on.
Yes. Instead of playing the outro, I'm going to play the video. The video that I've done for the coffee shop.
Right, yeah.
Yeah?
What now? It's like a Klingon, this cat.
It probably is.
He's never left me alone for days.
Right, are you ready? So I'm going to do this and then we're getting going.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Possibly.
In a minute.
From 33 St John Street, 45 St John. Street. It used to be St Thomas Hospital.
Yeah.
Then in 1864, that was demolished, and these 7 buildings were built, 2 of which are these 2.
Right.
And that was taken over by a fellow Joseph or John Lawrence.
Yeah.
One was the father, one was the son. The first 2 people that had it was Joseph and John, who was father and son. And they're listed in Kelly's directories as confectioners.
Yeah.
Then they've been here pretty much ever since. The building's always had their name to it.
Yeah.
Then in the 90s, a local bakery called Oliver Adams took over.
Yeah.
And then obviously about 5 years ago, they went into liquidation.
Yeah.
And the building was sat empty for the best part of 5 years.
Right.
We signed for it last September,
Yeah.
and we're nearly ready to open.